Good morning, students. Congratulations to all of you for qualifying in a JEE Advanced, and I apologize for the delay in this event, in starting this event. We'll quickly start the event. Thank you for registering on the using the Google form and posting questions. We will be addressing those questions first. We have received about 300 questions. We'll be addressing those questions, and some of the questions will be answered by the presentation made by our head of the department, Professor Rangan Banerjee itself, and then subsequently we will take up each question, and you can also post any further questions in the chat window. Thank you. Professor Rangan Banerjee.
Yeah. So good morning, and let me also, on behalf of the department, welcome you for this interaction and also congratulate you for your performance in JEE Advanced. What we have planned today is to sort of give you a quick overview of the department as well as try to answer your questions. We have several of our faculty colleagues, our students, and a few of our alumni here with you, so that you can take a more informed decision about your choices. So the Department of Energy, Science and Engineering at IIT Bombay is a unique blend of science and engineering, and it's one of the few such departments in the country. Can we go to the next slide, please? So as many of you would know, the energy sector is actually a very important sector for all of us, and it is a sector which is now in transition. We are moving from the conventional coal, oil, natural gas. You would have all heard of the issue and the problem of climate change. So we are going to see in the future different kinds of systems coming up, and maybe distributed. Maybe we are going to look at fuel cells and hydrogen. We are going to look at a lot of solar PV, wind. So this gives us lots of challenges and opportunities for engineers who understand different aspects of the energy system, who can provide solutions in terms of technologies, who can provide solutions in terms of the systems analysis and management, and who can actually innovate and provide solutions for the country and for the world. And you will see, you know, that in India itself, we have put an ambitious target of 450 gigawatt, and that's of renewable power by 2030. 450 gigawatts is a little more than the total capacity that we already have today. So there's a lot of activity happening, a lot of investments which are going to happen in the energy sector. And this is where we go. Can we have the next slide, please? And we are now a full-fledged department with our own department building. This department building was inaugurated by our Prime Minister more than about a year back. Next slide, please. So the department is ranked as the top energy engineering department or center in the country in the global rankings. We are 25 faculty members with about 400 students, and we have a significant amount of research funding of the order of 50 to 60 crores per year. And so we have cutting edge facilities, and this program that we have configured is a dual degree. It's a 5-year program which gives you a B.Tech as well as an M.Tech. And in this program we have put together, can we go to the next slide, please? We have different elements that are required for an engineer to provide solutions in the energy sector. And this includes heat transfer, fluid flow, thermodynamics, which are also covered in mechanical engineering and chemical engineering. We look at reaction engineering, transport phenomena, electrochemistry. We look at power electronics, machines, and power systems, and which are conventionally of electrical. Then we have physics, chemistry, mathematics. So basically it's a blend of all that is required for the energy sector, and you would have the capability to be as good as an electrical engineer when you look at machines and power systems, and as good as a mechanical engineer when you look at heat transfer and thermodynamics. And with this, you have a unique skill set which makes you actually very well equipped for the energy industry. Next slide, please. So this gives you a sort of the set of different research domains. We are in almost all research domains related to energy. Our focus is a little bit more on the renewables, but we also look at conventional, and we also are co-hosting a set of national research centers. We have the National Center for Photovoltaic Research and Education, along with the Department of Electrical Energy. We have a center for oil, gas with all the PSUs, along with chemical and several other departments at the institute. We have a center for the hydrogen storage. So we have actually cutting edge research facilities in many of these fields. Next slide, please. And so this gives you a sort of spectrum of some of the projects which our final year dual degree students do, and you will see that in this, whether it is electric vehicles or it is fuel cells, or it is looking at the wastes and nuclear reactors, and then there are technologies, there are systems, there are analysis. So there's a whole blend depending on your interest that you can focus on. And next slide, please. So this is giving you some glimpses of the state-of-the-art labs and the facilities that we have. And this is something that when you are when you join, and after once this COVID issue becomes a little bit under control, when you come to the campus, you would be able to come to our labs and facilities, and you would have actually some of the best characterization and fabrication facilities comparable with some of the best in the world. Next slide, please. So students in the first year do a course, which is the introductory course to energy, where you get a flavor of different kinds of, you actually make something, a product, you also look at different kinds of energy systems, and you get a perspective, and it helps you, equips you with an overall understanding of the system, and so that you start with the detailed coursework. Next slide, please. Students also have, apart from the curricular, there are extracurricular and co-curricular activities through the students associations. Next slide, please. Our students have been getting good placements, both in the core sector as well as in the non-core. And our dual degree students actually are doing quite well, and you will hear more details of this from the students and from some of the alumni. A certain percentage of students have been also have opted for higher studies. Many of them, the earlier batches, have already become PhDs, and some of them are in their own startups. And so the dual degree students are enthusiastic, passionate about energy, and they're all doing well in their respective fields. Next slide, please. We have partnerships with a number of universities, and in addition to these partnerships, next slide, please. Several of our students have been going for exchanges, semester exchanges in many of the European and US and other universities, and this has also enriched the experience that they have and their passion for the subject. Next slide, please. So I would like to just, with this broad introduction, I would just like to tell you that if you are thinking of this domain, you are interested, this is a domain where there is a lot of potential. The energy sector in India, for India to evolve and grow, we need to develop sustainable energy systems for the future. This offers challenges and opportunities, and as an energy systems engineer with a dual degree in this, you would have the opportunity to either join any company, start up on your own, or go ahead for higher studies. You basically, we have a small group, and we have of about 30 students, and we have 25 faculty members. Very close interaction, a well-designed program with a number of different aspects. You have some integrated things, like you have an energy design project as well as an innovation lab, and you will get all the skills required to actually make an impact and make a difference in the energy sector. And this is something where you can actually come up with new technologies, new systems, and you can actually achieve your dreams. So with this, I will stop, and then we will address some of the questions that you have already posed. Thank you. Over to you, Pawan.
Thank you, Professor Banerjee. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, students, we have a panel. We have a panel today to address the questions that you have already posted and the questions that you will be posting during this live interaction. And the panel consists of faculty members from our Department of Energy Science and Engineering and alumni who are working in industry and who are entrepreneurs. And we also have current students who can share their experiences, which will be answers to some of your questions. So let us move on to the questions part. So I'll be displaying the question that will be answered. So the first question is, we have tried to segregate the questions that you have posted into different baskets, and we have clubbed similar questions, and we have made a list of questions to be that can be addressed so that all your queries will be answered. So the first question is, how is an energy engineering course different from other engineering courses such as mechanical engineering or engineering physics? This will be addressed by Professor Shirish Kedare, a panel member and a faculty from our department. Professor Kedare.
Hello. So this is an interesting question, and I think partially answered by Professor Rangan Banerjee in his introduction. Mechanical engineering, I'm from mechanical engineering background, so maybe the question is directed to me. Mechanical engineering has something like thermal engineering, design engineering, and manufacturing, out of which this thermal engineering is more or less covered in the energy sector. So energy, see, all these branches, mechanical, electrical, concentrate on one region, one aspect of engineering, whereas energy kind of transcends many engineering branches. It is interdisciplinary, as they call it. So our energy engineering department has courses in mechanical engineering as well as electrical, like machines, motors, generators. All these are also part of our course, as well as controls. Some part of the chemical engineering, transport phenomena, and other things are also part of our course. So all those which are needed for energy engineering from different departments is part of our engineering. So as far as Rangan used these words, as far as the thermal engineering concerned, you are as good as the mechanical engineering. So as far as machines are concerned, electrical machines are concerned, you are as good as electrical engineer. So these are the relevant parts of different departments that are taught in energy engineering. Plus, we also have something related to energy management, energy efficiency, energy policy, energy economics. So these are the courses, energy systems. So looking at the systems view. So looking at the energy process as a system. So these are the courses above all these things. Engineering physics is actually slightly different. It more concentrates on quantum mechanics and then goes to materials and which are used for solid states and other things. So it is more related to materials. So we are application side of it, like photovoltaic energy. This is application of that. So that's quite different, engineering physics. But other engineering, as I explained, we look at various engineering disciplines, take out the energy related part of it, and that is taught in this course. So you are good for taking an energy view. You are not bound by your mechanical knowledge or electrical knowledge. You are versatile in both. That's what kind of Rangan also mentioned. I think I'm able to answer, but you can have a follow-up answer, a question afterwards. Yeah. Over to Pawan.
Thank you, Professor Kedare. If we don't have any other the additions to be made by other panel members, we'll move on to the next question. Okay, thank you. What are the various things that we can explore and learn in this course? I think this question has been addressed by the presentation and also by Professor Kedare's answer. Then the next question is, what are the pros and cons of dual degree program? I'd like our current student Shaunak Joshi to start answering this question by sharing his experience. Shaunak.
Good morning, everyone. So, am I audible?
Yes, Shaunak, go ahead.
So basically, while choosing whether to opt for a dual degree or not, one of the main things to consider was that we do take 1 year more to graduate than our friends, than our peers. But at the same time, you save a whole year on an M.Tech degree. Another thing is that if you see in a broader perspective, 4 years of a time in an institute is a little less to really explore your interests and gain clarity on exactly what is it that you want to do. So, for example, the first year has common courses for all the departments. The second and third years sort of give you a base on what the department is based upon and what is the core of the department. And then you really don't get a time to actually work on a project. So in a dual degree program, the whole of your 5th year will be completely devoted towards a particular project, and which will be based on what you have learned in 4 years. So this is one of the very big pros of a dual degree program. Like, coming to cons, everything which has pros will always have cons. And so the same time is that you take 1 more year to graduate than your peers. If you feel that you're not really interested in engineering, then maybe students like these prefer B.Tech degree over a dual degree, because they can get a degree in 4 years, explore their interest and go and explore somewhere else in the non-core sector. And the last thing is that, yeah, maybe every peer or many students will get graduated 1 year before you. So these are some things to consider. But overall, I would say is that a dual degree will help you gain a better clarity, but will require 1 more year. And also you will save a whole year on your M.Tech program. So yeah, that's it from my side. Over to Pawan sir.
Thank you, Shaunak.
So I think this choice of Pawan, if I can add.
Please, Professor Banerjee.
Yeah. So this choice of 4 years or 5 years is a sort of personal choice. You'll have to see. But dual degree, in a dual degree program, you get you work for a year on a project, which is something which you do on your own, and it gives you a flavor, a confidence, and you work on. It's an introduction to research. You may or may not continue in research, but it gives you a certain specialization and a confidence. So if you are interested in the domain, that becomes, and that's why we decided that our exit is planned. This is a dual degree program, and our department offers only the dual degree program. So the B.Tech is a sort of exit option, but we don't plan for this. So the decision of whether you are going to spend 4 years or 5 years is something which you have to choose. But the dual degree program gives you not only the courses, but it also gives you an integration of that in the project, and you save a little bit of time. You can also have the option of research beyond that. Thanks. Over to Pawan.
Okay, thank you, Professor Banerjee. We'll move on to the next question. What is the future scope in the field of energy engineering? What are the future prospects of this stream in the private sector or research? I would like to invite our alumni, Barkha Bansal and Akash Zaveri, to answer this question. Barkha, you please go first.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so I'll take the first part of the question, which is what is the future scope of energy engineering in the private sector? I've laid out a particular framework that you can use to consider all the future options. So basically, there are three types of companies where you can consider finding a job for yourself. One is the energy focused companies itself, which are solar or wind companies or electric vehicles, energy efficiency. There are a lot of data and software companies also that are working on energy efficiency and energy management softwares. The second type of companies would be other industries like, say, a PNG or a ITC kind of an industry. And then the third category would be the completely non-core companies like consulting and finance. And in each of these companies, you could have three distinct categories of roles. The first is core engineering role itself. So an example of core engineering role would be if you're an engineer in a solar energy firm, you would be involved in designing the entire solar power plant, both from a mechanical and electrical point of view. So you'll be deciding what kind of structures to put, what kind of electrical connections to make, what kind of modules to purchase, how will the AC side integration happen, etc. The second type of role could be a data analytics role, so a data science or data analytics role, which is actually applicable across all the three types of companies, where you could be involved in building data models that help in some sort of predictive analysis or predictive research about how you can manage an energy asset or how you can bring in more energy efficiency in your company. The third category would be business roles. So in business roles, you could have a business development or a sales kind of a role. You could have a strategy kind of a role, and you could also have operations roles, so like a project manager kind of a role. Again, all these three kind of roles can also be availed in energy companies, in other industries, or in consulting and finance. So to give you an example, some of the IIT graduates are working in ITC, or who are involved in who are involved in increasing renewable energy procurement for ITC. So they are involved in constructing solar plants in all the ITC factories, and they're also involved in making sure that they're purchasing solar energy through open access plants and other available avenues in this stream. So over to Akash for any other, if he wants to add any other point.
Rekha, can you also tell the audience about what you are doing now?
Sure, absolutely. So just to give you a brief background about myself, I graduated from the Energy Science program in 2015. And I also pursued consulting a non-core role for a few years. And since last 3 years, I co-founded a solar energy startup along with two other batchmates of mine from the 2015 batch itself. And we work with the solar plant owners to improve the efficiency of their assets. So if any company has, say, a solar plant 20-50 megawatt, which is 3 to 5 years old and which is facing generation issues, then we will do a complete audit of that plant, understand what are the different points of inefficiency, either at the solar module level or at the entire system level, use a combination of our understanding of how a solar plant works, as well as a lot of data analytics to build a strategy to improve the efficiency of that plant. So the company has been running since last 3 years, and we have been a lot of, I think, IIT Bombay dual degree program students have also done a lot of internships with us. So yeah, so this is what I'm doing right now.
Thank you, Barka. Akash?
Yes, so thank you, Professor Pawan. So I'll just start with my background, right? I think that should give you all a flavor of what all is possible once you graduate. So I graduated in 2014 and joined consulting for 3 years. I worked at McKinsey and Company. Then I joined the startup world and worked in the startup world for a couple of years. Recently, for the last 5-6 months, I've been trying to work on an idea of my own with a friend with an algorithmic trading background, CS sort of coding kind of background. and work on creating some solutions for the power trading industry, right? So it's the blend of core and non-core that I've been trying to work in. And what this has made me realize is that the concepts that I picked up during the 5 years doing energy engineering, they give me options not just in the field of energy engineering, but outside energy engineering as well. What helps is largely three things, right? The whole systems approach to thinking. So essentially, when you learn mechanical and chemical and electrical and different types of theories, then you have to apply them in unison, right? And as I see more and more, the world is moving to complex jobs, because all the basic jobs, right, they are in some way or form being made redundant. So this complex analysis, complex utilization of so complex utilization of theories, right, and decision making for ensuring optimal usage of resources, etc., becomes critical. The second piece is around having hands-on knowledge. So in a lot of situations, people go into data analysis and those kinds of fields, and it largely becomes a theoretical exercise. And after a point, a lot of people want to get into something hands-on. And with energy, with the 1-year project, I think you end up getting that hands-on experience sooner rather than later. So that helps. And the last piece is just around having that confidence in one particular field, right? Because I remember I had done my M.Tech project in the field of cost optimization for energy conservation, etc., right? And that's essentially the topic that I'm trying to start up in right now. And it has opened so many doors with folks in industry, folks from academia, and it's essentially something that has made this startup possible for me today. Yeah, I think, Barkha, do you want to add something?
No, Akash, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Barkha and Akash. There is another question. Probably it is again in a similar line. What are the opportunities and commonly taken career paths after this degree? This could relate to placements and also internships. I'd like Aditi Kadam to start answering this question, who is a current student, and then Barkha and Akash can add to it. Thank you. Aditi, please.
Hi, I'm Aditi. I'm a third-year undergraduate in Energy Science and Engineering. I'm also internship coordinator for Energy Science this year. So for placements in terms of non-core, we have all the opportunities that are available to other branches. And it mostly depends on the college relations with the other firms. And IIT Bombay has a very good relations with many non-core companies. So the placement statistics for non-core is very good. Examples of the companies are BCG, Deutsche Bank, Abinbev, McKinsey, and Capital Group. Now coming to the core placements, there are two types. One we can go in the IT sector, and other are the core energy firms. For students interested in core energy firms, there are engineering firms, research and development firms, and PSUs. Examples for which are General Electric, Murata, Siemens, ExxonMobil, Mahindra, and Jaguar. So also for the IT companies, the companies which open for energy are very high. I mean, they don't differentiate based on branch. It just depends on your coding skills and what projects you have done in the college years. So for the coding companies, there are Amazon, Uber, Goldman Sachs, Sony, and AWL Japan. And also that energy is now a booming sector, and the demand for energy engineers is bound to increase in coming years. Recently, Elon Musk tweeted that they'll visit India in 2021 to hire interns. And he is the owner of Gigafactory, which is a core energy company. So we can see that though there are many energy core companies which are doing incredible work, and there are already many energy companies which are doing great work, and most importantly that there is a lot yet to be done. So in recent years, the number of companies coming for core energy are bound to increase. Yeah.
Thank you, Aditi. Barkha and Akash, do you want to add anything to this?
So I'll add a few points. I think particularly with respect to moving from non-core, like starting as a in a non-core field. So I know a lot of people in my batch, and Akash and I are also examples of people who've started their careers in non-core consulting companies, and then later on moved to energy companies. I think that's a very common trajectory that a lot of my classmates and people like senior to me have followed. What I personally feel is that energy is a very interdisciplinary field in itself. Any sort of a energy problem is also a huge commercial problem. It's also a huge business problem. So having this kind of an exposure, like this kind of an interdisciplinary exposure, and working in initially starting your career in a non-core company and then moving to energy companies also really helps you in A, succeeding in your role, and B, developing like a more holistic understanding of how the energy industry operates.
Okay, thank you. Akash?
Yes, just one point to add. So while there are a lot of opportunities on the job front, I think on the research front also there are lots of opportunities, right? So Barkha and I are just 2 out of a set of 60 from 2 batches, but I know that there are about 10-15 folks from each batch, so that's 50% of each batch that ends up pursuing further studies, typically in the US or Europe, and then work at energy companies either in those countries, or they get into the job field after pursuing the further studies, or they come back to India and try to start up on their own. Just that.
Thank you, Akash. Do we have any other panel members who would like to add? Who would like to add through this answer?
There are also some people who have taken up, who have gone into the policy space. It's not too many, 4 or 5 people who are in the energy policy space, and they're with think tanks. So that's another domain where they are looking at doing analysis to see what the country should be doing in terms of policy. So Parth, Neeraj are people who are with the Center for Policy Research and the CEEW.
Thank you, Professor Banerjee. We'll move on to the next question. Branch change policy. Can we switch branch to a 4-year course? This can be addressed by our student Pushkar.
So, hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, Pushkar, go ahead.
Okay, so hi guys, my name is Pushkar. I'm a 5th year dual degree student. So when I entered IIT Bombay, I entered metallurgy branch because that's the branch that I got. And so after my first year, I had realized that I had an interest in electrical because of my 11th, 12th courses in electrical, bifocal, and some technical team work that I did in my first year in IIT Bombay. And that's why in the end, I wanted to go to an electrical side branch, but I couldn't go to electrical because I did not get that high of a CPI. So, but I ended up in energy because it has a major aspect in electrical. And to be honest, it has been the best decision ever because not only did I get to study what I like, but it has also given me the smaller department has given me an option to grow. So moving on to the question, branch change policy. So usually branch change policies of institutes like IITs are available online. For IIT Bombay, you can just search branch change rules IIT Bombay and you'll get the PDF detailing all the rules. Just three important rules are: you need a CPI, that is a GPA of 8+, and each branch increases their seats by 10%, and each branch cannot reduce their strength by 15%. So that's how branch change works in IIT Bombay. Compared to other IITs, IIT Bombay has a lenient branch change policy, and that's why it is a bit preferred college if you are thinking about branch change. So the next rule is that please don't choose a college because you want to change your branch. That is not an option that you should bank on. Whenever you choose a branch and a college, you should always assume that if you are going to end up in that branch for the next 4 years or 5 years. That's about the branch change policy. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
let me just add to Pushkar has actually put it quite nicely. I just wanted to add one explicit thing that yes, you can change if you join a dual degree program, which is a 5-year program. At the end of the year, you can change to a 4-year course if that is your interest and if you have performed well in terms of your CPI. Of course, as Pushkar rightly said, that don't put pressure on yourself. This is an option open to you. Choose a branch where you are happy with the branch that you are choosing. And of course, if you want to do a change, that option will be available to you.
I would like to add that this year, because of COVID, some IITs have declared that they won't have branch change, like IIT Madras, as far as I know. But that is not the case with IIT Bombay. Our director has, at least by now, just said that branch change will be there this year. So yeah.
Thank you. Let us move on to the next question. So I have listed some different questions all together here. I'll be reading one by one and also requesting a panel member to answer. First question is, why should I consider over the other branches in IITs? Professor Banerjee, can we?
This is a difficult question. Actually, we can't recommend. You have to choose. You have to choose what you like. And typically, what happens is people just choose based on ranking, talk to other people. Only thing which I can tell you is that if you feel that you can do something in the energy sector, it seems something of interest, then it's a good branch for you. Between two different, you can have a location, you can choose a discipline, or you can choose a location. We believe IIT Bombay is flexible. IIT Bombay has a good culture, so we hope you're choosing IIT Bombay. Amongst the branches, it depends on what you really want to do. Most branches have reasonable scope, and in each of these branches there is something that you will find which is of interest. So for instance, in energy, as Pushkar said, he is keen in terms of he's looking at electricity, he's looking at power electronics, he's looking at grids. There could be someone else who wants to look at electrochemistry, and so the field itself is quite broad. And within the field, again, the domain has, as you see in future, there will be opportunities. So amongst that, you need to think for yourself and then choose. So it's very difficult to say, should you choose? I saw in the Q&A many things where should I choose this or should I choose another? That is your personal choice. But within that, if you want to choose energy, there are options open for you. And you will not have any regrets, and you will really you will enjoy the course, and you will have future opportunities. I don't know if any of our students or alumni want to add on this question.
Yeah, yes, please. Do we have any panel members who want to add to the answer? Okay, we'll move on. So the next question is, why is it still not much recognized branch? I would request again Professor Banerjee to start answering this question.
Not much recognized branch in the sense that we have 30 students going out, right? And in IIT Bombay itself, we have maybe 1,300 coming in through JEE. It's a small number. Our students are doing well, and I think in a few years you'll be hearing about what they are doing, and there will be a little more hype being created about it. The IIT Delhi, I was in a meeting yesterday in IIT Delhi. They are planning to start a B.Tech and an M.Tech in energy. So not much recognized is sort of, I mean, yes, the current thing is we are looking at AI and ML, and there are many things which are there. But in the case of energy environment, this fulfills a need in society. There are investments, there are challenges, there are opportunities. The numbers that we graduate are not very large, so that it may not have captured the popular, I mean, in the sense of much recognized branch, and this takes a little bit of time. But our students, our dual degree students, are doing well, and they will make a name for themselves, so that much recognized will happen in a few years.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next question. Will the students be exploring novel and next generation optimized ways of generating energy? I request Professor Manaswita Bose to start answering this question.
The answer to this question is yes. Courses in the later years, starting from third year onwards, have course projects. In those course projects, you can choose projects such a way you explore novel and next generation energy options. There are in particular two courses that Professor Banerjee has already mentioned in his opening presentation: Energy Design Project and Innovation Lab. Those two courses are in particular designed for students to explore novel ideas. In addition, you have the dual degree project. That is a one-year work. So you have plenty opportunities to work on your ideas under the guidance and supervision of faculty members of the department. In addition, the students member of the panel can add to it. There are research programs to enthuse undergraduate students into the research into the early career of research, where you can also pursue your ideas and explore on optimized way of generation energy and different ideas that you may have at this moment. I have this much to start with, and I open to the students to add on to it and other panel members to add on to it. Over to Pawan.
Thank you, Professor Bose. Any other panel members, please? Students, do you want to add something to it? No. Okay. We'll move on to the next question.
1 minute, Pawan. So many of our students have been, so the energy students actually participated in the solar decathlon, where the students actually designed and built a house, which is a 680 square foot house, which is completely running on solar energy, and has put PV panels and solar thermal on top, phase change materials. They shipped the house and built it in France. They built it back. It's come back onto the IIT campus. They've been also, students have been participating in the electric vehicle challenge. And so there are many different hands-on projects that our students have been involved in with other students in the campus. And so this is definitely students have this kind of option, and we really feel that this is the way to go for many of our students. Yes,
okay.
Pawan.
Yeah. We'll move on to the next question. Does the degree focus on developing sustainable energy sources in India? I request Professor Srinivas to start answering this question.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, Professor Srinivas, you are audible.
Okay, thanks. Okay, good morning, everyone. Yeah, so coming to the development of sustainable energies, yes, there is a very good scope given the curriculum that we have in the department. That is because you will be learning about different kinds of renewable energies like solar energy, bioenergy, wind energy, and not only that, of late we are also trying to add a few courses related to storage because renewable energy without storage is not really so viable. So you would also be doing some courses on electrochemical energy storage, etc. So in addition to courses in our department, there are a few electives which you can pick from other departments, which will cover the entire gamut, or let's say the area of renewable and sustainable energies. So in short, yes, with the courses and some other opportunities in doing projects, you should be able to come up with some good ideas for sustainable energy development. Request other colleagues or students to add on to this if they have any comments.
Okay, we will move on to the next question. Which is more closer to energy engineering, electrical or electronics or mechanical? I request Professor Balasubramanian to answer this question.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so good morning everyone and congratulations on clearing JEE Advanced during these trying times. And it's good to know that you're inquisitive about the department. So coming to the question, which is more closer to energy engineering, electrical or electronics or mechanical, this is just another flavor of the question that has been addressed by Professor Kedare. I think the reason for the department and the way in which it was set up was to bring together people from many disciplines, and there are faculty in electrical, electronics, mechanical, chemical, physics, chemistry, and so on in this department. And the students' courses have also been shaped in that manner. So I don't think it's closer to electrical, electronics, or mechanical. It is actually a coming together of these various disciplines to address a specific problem. And to take an example, if I take photovoltaics or a photovoltaic system being set up, which is what the materials part is what I work on. I think the mechanical part comes into play when you design the tracking system, and the electrical and electronics part comes in when you look at the balance of systems and so on. And physics comes in and materials comes in when you design the material for the actual power generation and so on. But it can also creep in very, very subtle ways. For example, like setting up a photovoltaic system in India would mean that the system is going to see more dust and all that. And so physics comes in to understand how the dust sticks onto the panel and how you can clean it, and various things like how the addition of the dust takes place and all that is important. So to make it short, in a sense, many things come together, and my personal feeling is that it is not close to either of these disciplines. You learn many of these things and get to design something which is going to be unique. If other people want to add on to this, please.
Thank you, Professor Bala. Other panel members, please. Okay, we'll move on. Free time to learn non-core subjects, or am I able to choose electives similar to other branches like electronics or electrical? I'd like our student Chaitanya, current student Chaitanya, to start answering this question. Chaitanya, please.
Yeah, hello sir, am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so one thing I want everyone to note that when you choose a branch, you are not restricted to studying the content from the branch itself. So IIT Bombay is very accommodative when it comes to choosing courses from other branches and departments. So one thing which I think is a pro of all dual degree programs is that you have a fair amount of options to choose from and a lot of time to cover most electives of your choice. So to give you some numbers, I think our department allows around 13 courses to be chosen from outside the compulsory curriculum. So you have a lot of choice. In this, we cover departments ranging from aerospace, electrical, mechanical, material science. We can also, under the tag of institute electives, take up courses from CS, mathematics. So all of these things are open to students to choose from. So that should answer this query.
Okay, thank you, Chaitanya.
Yeah.
Any panel members would like to add to this?
Pavan, I will add.
Please, please.
So as Chaitanya mentioned, there are 13 elective courses. So there are categories, 9 department elective, 2 institute elective, and 2 open electives. So the 2 institute electives are the ones where you should choose non-core subjects. So that is the answer to the first question, free time to learn non-core subjects. So 2 institute electives, non-core subjects, you are actually, it's a mandate that you learn some non-core subjects. Okay, and department electives, when it comes to 9 department electives, it does not necessarily mean that you have to take courses from energy department. It includes courses from electrical, mechanical, chemical, physics, chemistry, industrial operations, Sitara, all these departments. So you have your answer that, you know, you can learn from almost all over the institute, departments from all over the institute. On top of that, there are 2 open electives that is completely up to you. You choose your course. Only thing we see that you don't choose repetitive courses, like, you know, you don't pick up thermodynamics from mechanical and same thermodynamics from chemical. We put a bar on that. We always encourage students to take variety of courses. Oh, I'm done. Over to Pavan.
One thing
hello?
I almost forgot to mention
Yeah.
is that IIT Bombay does house a management school within its campus. So it also has a plethora of non-core courses to offer. So do consider that.
I would like to add to this is that these 13 electives that Chaitanya and ma'am, Manasita ma'am has told are, to be honest, like the maximum amount of electives offered in any branch in IIT Bombay. So it is like one of the most liberal branches in terms of allowing you to pursue your own area of interest. Apart from that, non-core, I would like to say that the most important part of non-core, apart from subjects, is personality development. And personality development is something you definitely get in a campus like IIT Bombay, where there are tons of opportunities to work on yourself. Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to the next question. Is it beneficial for one to do MS after going through a dual degree course? I request Pushkar, our current student, to start answering this question.
So hello guys. So about masters. So I hope everybody knows that MS is M.Tech. So basically, when you get an M.Tech from IIT Bombay, you have completed a master's level degree. So one restriction on pursuing masters abroad is that you cannot pursue masters abroad in the same degree that you have completed your masters in here. For example, if you completed your masters in energy science, you cannot complete a MS abroad in energy. You can complete it in other departments like electrical, mechanical. So basically, the advantages of doing an MS are one, that you get a foreign experience, you get to go abroad. A foreign experience is important in itself. Apart from that, you can use the master's degree to change into an area that you like. You can build up courses in an area that you like. For example, if you want to go into material science, so you might have done a few courses in energy in your 5 years, but you want to specialize in it. So doing a master's might help you change your field. Another thing is that you get to stay in academia longer, which is something that many people want because it's amazing. Apart from that, some disadvantages to MS are that it is very expensive and usually you don't get funding. So an MS in US will usually cost 50 lakhs or upwards. Apart from that, if you are pursuing MS in an area that you are already an expert in, then basically it is not that useful. So MS, you can try to choose some other ways to go to achieve your goals, like complete a PhD, or you might want to work in a company and then use that company to bounce off to where you want to go. Yeah.
Thank you, Pushkar. Any panel members would like to add to this question?
Yes, normally, M.Tech is equivalent to MS, so we don't really feel that people should be doing MS, but some students have gone for this route because they are not absolutely sure whether they want to go for a PhD, and they do an MS in some related areas and then probably use that as a way of getting an international job in some domains. And so it is possible. It's not something which I mean it depends on in some related areas where you feel you want to get something else, then one goes for an MS. There are also many others who have actually gone for a PhD, and so it completely depends on your interest, but the option still remains open.
And I would like to add that your dual degree thesis and the fact that you have done research for a single year does prove as an advantage for your applications for MS or PhD. Yeah.
Okay. We will go to the next question. What is the scope? Sorry.
Professor Pavan, I just want to add one point on the MS topic.
Please go ahead.
So just based on the few clarifications based on the experience of a few of my classmates who have done MS, I think there are two broad reasons why people do MS. One is if they want a change of geography, which is very much feasible. If someone wants to go and work in the energy sector in the US, one of my classmates, Rushil, is doing that. Then you can do MS, and you can do MS in related, even if it's not energy, you can do it in related fields like energy, sustainable design, or energy buildings, or energy management. There's a course by Stanford, energy management, which is very popular. And the second reason why people do MS is something that Pushkar has already picked on, which is if you want to change your field. So like, for example, if you want to pursue something which is at the intersection of energy and computer science, then you can do an MS in computer science. People are also increasingly pursuing MS in data science. This has become a recent trend in the last 2-3 years, where a lot of people have gone and done MS in data science and then worked in energy companies in a data role. In terms of the cost of MS, I really don't think you should worry about it, because even if you don't get funding, MS is categorized as a STEM degree, which allows you to work in the US for 3 years. And that is a very good period for you to earn back enough money to pay back your student loan, as well as have some decent savings in case you want to move back to India.
Thank you, Barka. Do we have any more panel members who would like to add to this question? Okay, let us move on to the next question. What is the scope of exchange program in this branch? We got a flavor of exchange program in the HOD's presentation. Professor Banerjee, can you please add?
Yeah, well, I thought students would give a better feel of this, but typically what happens is there are a number of European universities who encourage exchange in the energy domain, and we have been quite flexible. So quite a number of our students, in terms of percentage, I guess the number of students in our program doing exchange is probably the highest in the institute. We've been reasonably flexible with it, and what I've found is that many of the students after the exchange get a different perspective, and some of them get even more become more interested in the subject itself and have a greater appreciation also for what we are learning in our course. But I think some of the students may give a better perspective about the exchanges. You can maybe show that slide again.
Sure, sure. Shaunak, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So one of the very big advantages of a dual degree is also that you get 5 years, and in that 5 years, it's really easy to like take out a semester for a semester exchange. So what happens is many times is that some of the courses may not get mapped, and then you'll have to do them the next year. So it really becomes difficult in a 4-year program. Hence, we see like the 30%, 9 out of 27, this ratio is, you can never see this ratio in any other department which does not have a dual degree. So yeah, that is also an advantage of being in a dual degree program. And energy universities in Europe are quite well established when compared with India. So like you get to explore various energy courses at the highest level even there. So semester exchanges are not only about travel, but they also help you gain a broader perspective about the energy aspect in European universities, or for that matter, affect anywhere in the world.
Thank you, Shaunak. Any other panel member would like to add?
I would like to add that for semester exchange, there are a variety of scholarships that are available that you can apply to. And so in the end, you might even end up earning more than what you spent abroad. So that's there. And apart from that, I would like to just repeat that foreign semester exchange is an important experience for students, and it's really important for your growth and development.
Thank you, Pushkar. We'll move on to the next question. Yes. How many girls are there in this branch at IITB? Aditi?
So there are 6 girls. Now the cap is 6. So in this, when you will take entry to IIT Bombay, there will be either 6 or more than 6 girls in the branch.
Okay, that is in each year's intake, right?
Yeah, each year's intake.
Okay.
Like they are increasing the percent every year. So for this year, there might be 7.
Okay. Yeah. We'll move on to the next question. Who are the faculty members and what is their experience? Professor Banerjee.
Okay, we have 25 faculty members in our department, and there are if we look at it, it's a diverse experience. 4 of our faculty members are with electrical engineering background and could have been faculty members in electrical engineering. We have a similar number, 4 or 5, who are in with mechanical engineering. And there are, I think, 3 or 4 who are from chemical engineering. There is a faculty member with metallurgical engineering and material science. We have faculty members with physics and chemistry with energy background. There's a faculty member with an energy background. So it's actually, even the faculty are quite diverse. Most of the faculty members have had research and teaching experience. A lot of it is with international experience. So relatively compared to the other departments, we are slightly younger faculty, but with quite a lot of experience. And also you will see that our faculty are on editorial boards of many of the international journals, including being editors of some of the journals, and so they're quite well recognized even globally. And so you are actually in good hands in terms of the competence level of the faculty. Also, some of the faculty members have at least a few years of industry experience, so there's some amount of a reality and an industry check in that.
And then we have this question: what is the prospects? I think probably what are the prospects of this course for women? I would like to request Professor Manaswita Bose and Barkha Bansal to answer this question. Professor Manaswita, please start.
I thought Barkha would be the better one to start anyway. So I don't see any difference between being I don't see a gender bias in this course. I mean, I feel we are equally competent to work on any aspects of energy and take on work as equal member of the area. Barkha, what do you think? Barkha, are you around?
Yes, I'm here, ma'am. Absolutely agree with you there. I also don't think there is any difference in based on your gender with respect to what kind of experience you will have at IIT or while pursuing this course. In terms of the experience in industry, while I agree that in general energy industry is more skewed towards more men in the industry, but I personally in the last 3 years haven't faced any issue in terms of running the startup or in terms of working in the industry because of my gender. I think there are a lot of female role models in the energy industry to look up to, both in academia as well as in industry. And it's what is important is that you keep in touch with other women and keep in touch with those role models of yours. Identify your role models and keep in touch with them. Because sometimes the challenges faced by women can be slightly different than men, but that doesn't mean they would in any way hinder your prospects of growth.
Thank you, Barkha. Do we have any other panel members who would like to add to this answer to this question?
I'll just add one more point. See, in energy, we have several opportunities also, as you know, Barkha herself is doing. Even in core sectors, I mean, why in particular energy? In engineering itself, the number of girl students is less, like there is a skew in the percentage. But even if you go to plants, there was a point in 90s or before that, girls were not allowed in the production. Now girls are even allowed in the production, in the night shifts. So I really think in 2020, we would worry about gender bias. We would actually fight it out. I would take that as a attitude. Barkha? For any branch of engineering, here I wouldn't say energy. I mean,
yes, I actually agree with you there. And a personal incident that I want to share here is that in India, it's actually not allowed for women to go visit a coal mine because of certain safety concerns. But for one of my projects, it was important for me to go and visit a mine 500 meters deep inside the Earth's surface. And my company and my managers were able to take that permission and figure out a way for that opportunity to be available for me. So that was directly against, that was a huge sort of support that I saw from my managers personally. So I agree with ma'am that gender bias is not really a concern these days. There is a solution for almost everything.
Thank you.
Sir, I would like to add that not about just women in general, but just children in general. IIT Bombay being in Bombay, it has a lot of modern values, and it is a safe space for kids. There is gender cell, and there is an LGBTQ group that is there for kids and to help them grow. Yeah.
Thank you. So that is from the set of questions that we have already got from registration. We are about 1 hour in this session. I will quickly look at the questions that were posted on the on the chat, and we have published some of the questions. And in fact, some of our panel members, students have helped me identify newer questions, the questions that are different from those that were already addressed. I will read out the questions, and if I have an answer, I'll quickly share it with you. And when I read out a question, if a panel member like to add to answer or to answer to start with, please feel free to start answering the question. The first question I would like to take up is, can you please let me know when was this course started in IIT Bombay? So the dual degree program in energy engineering, B.Tech plus M.Tech was started in 2007, and the department was formed in 1980-81. Okay, and then there is a question, opting a particular specialization at this level after +2, like energy science, for us with a little knowledge in those topics is a bit confusing. We hope we are not so capable enough in opting the branch with the perspective we have on that. Can somebody please answer this question?
Yes, I can try to answer that. So the point is, every field, what you need to see is whether the field is something of interest, whether it has potential, and whether that field within itself has a diversity of options. So in the case of energy itself is a broad area, and within that you can have, depending on your interest, whether you can focus on various aspects. So it doesn't really restrict you. You of course need to look at, when you're looking at whether it is energy or you're looking at civil or you're looking at aero, you have to sort of find out and understand what are your interests. But beyond that, there is no other risk. It's not like a very super specialized thing where you are stuck. And so you have to identify your interests, and this is true about any branch that you choose. You will have to take a choice at this level. And the good thing is now, and especially in IIT Bombay, you have many options within that. You also have options to explore in terms of coursework, and then subsequently you may decide based on your interest. So it will take some time to find your own interests. And but if looking at the curriculum and looking at the choices, if you think this is a domain that interests you, please just go ahead.
Thank you, Professor Banerjee.
Sir, I would like to add on this. So if you see, energy is actually one of the most interdisciplinary branches that are there in engineering. So like throughout your stay, a student can easily divert to their specializations, right? Like Pushkar mentioned, he was interested in electrical. So there's similarly people interested in chemical, metallurgy, mechanical as well. So they opt for certain projects in their dual degree projects. So actually being in branches like energy, or for that matter mechanical, you actually get a flexibility in terms of your choice, and you can choose based on your interest.
Okay. Then the question is there an economic aspect in this course? So as far as I know, we have a course called Energy Resources, Economics and Environment. So we do have a core course that has to be studied by the engineers. Any panel member would like to add to this, please?
Yes, Pawan, I can add. Okay, so as Pawan just mentioned, we have this course in the beginning itself. So this is a second year course where we give you some idea of the economics and keep it in context of the energy domain. But apart from this, there are also other electives that you can take while you're in the 4-year program, which will give you some more, let me say, depth of the economic aspects.
Okay. Then how are internships for this course? I think this has already been addressed. And some questions are also answered by the moderators by typing. So please have a look at that. We will also post the answers to the questions, the live questions here in a forum. And then, are dual degree students less preferred than B.Tech degree students for campus placement? Students?
Sir, can I answer?
Please.
So dual degree students, there is a preference for dual degree students in core areas because you have done a specialization, you have done a master's. Whereas in non-core areas, some companies, there are a few companies that don't open up because of the 5-year course. Yeah, so that is all I have to contribute.
No, okay. For placements, they open for 5-year course, but for internship they don't open because they have to offer a PPO, and dual degree students sit in 3rd year for their internships. So there are non-core company that don't open for dual degree in 3rd year, but for placements they open. For internships, there are some that don't open for dual.
So this is a tricky thing to see, but if you look at it, I think in terms of the average salaries given for placements, so dual degree average is higher than the B.Tech average. So of course you end up spending 1 year more, so one would, but I think the on the average thing, if you look at it, so there's not much. It all depends on how you look at these numbers, but many companies do prefer dual degree students.
And Akasha, if I may add, so I graduated 6 years ago, so I will talk about that time, and my sense is things would not have changed much in these 5-6 years. So when you're doing a dual degree, right, you have 5 years, which is 1 more year than your B.Tech peers by the time you sit for placement. And the trend that used to be common 5-6 years ago when I graduated was that by 2nd, 3rd year, you realize what you want to do. Or just after doing your 3rd year internship, you start to realize what you want to do. And for B.Tech students, there's a limited time for a course correct at that point, and then they just naturally sit for placements. But for dual degree students, it gives the option of trying to use the 5th year and remaining part of the 4th year effectively in order to build a profile for the company that you want to get placed at. And in my personal case, I think that helped quite a bit. And I don't know if there are others who agree or disagree. Anyone?
Completely second Akash on this one. I think personally, being a dual degree student helped me also in the exact same way as Akash mentioned. And even if you look at the statistics, at least for our batches, I'm pretty sure that dual degree students had better placements across all departments than B.Tech students in terms of average package as well as in terms of the quality of jobs that they were able to get. That directly correlates with how you use your additional 1 year. Some people use it to take extra courses, develop certain skill sets, learn coding. Some people use it to do volunteer work, or some people use it to do project work. And accordingly, it helps in your placements as well.
Thank you. Then we move on to the next question. How can we help government in providing energy to poor sectors of society through this program? Professor Kedare?
Okay. Yes. So what sector? I didn't get that.
How can we help government in providing energy to poor sectors of society through this program?
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3 aspects. One thing is to develop a technology. A decentralized. You mean decentralized, right? So,
yes.
So decentralized technology, maybe renewable, maybe small gadgets, like Stirling engine, or which is biomass fired or anything fired, solar fired. So that is one thing, and helping the government. So unless there is so we have a policy related issues. We can also work on policy. Of course, that's not necessarily limited to poor sector or decentralized sector. But we have a lot of activities on that side also. See, for example, we are working on traditional cooking stoves. So how the cooking fuel can be provided? What are the effect of LPG? What is the policy effect? Effect of policy on LPG? So all these things we are working. So yes, we can help. So there has to be ideas developed, technology developed, as well as study of those technologies with society. We also work with people. So there is a group, Sitara in IIT, as well as in energy. We are a few guys who are working on this sector. I think I'm trying to be brief, but if anything, you can come back. But that is the way. Yes, we do think about various, not beyond industry, the societal issues and people's issues also, because energy is required by everybody individually, as a system, as a corporate, as an industry, everything. So energy pervades everything. So yes, there are solutions and it's possible to develop on that line.
Thank you, Professor Kedare. Do we have any panel members who would like to add?
Well, we did. We've been also involved in. There was a village electrification we had done in Orissa with the Cummins Lab facility, and also there was this whole initiative for the solar lamps, and we've also been involved in a number of microgrids. So, as Shirish said, technology can be one solution. We can also look at systems and access, and there are many, for those who are interested in this, there are many avenues and groups and like-minded people, so you can find ways to actually look at access.
Thank you. Whether in dual degree, this is the last question that I'm going to take up. Whether in dual degree, the number of courses in each semester is more than that in a 4-year course. I don't think it is more. The maximum number of credits in a semester is same for all courses. Can somebody answer this?
Actually, we have the Senate, the IIT Bombay Senate prescribes a certain range of course credits per semester, and we are not allowed to go beyond that. What has been done in the dual degree is that some of the commonalities have been reduced, and because of that, we save some time. The number of credits required in the dual degree, so it's less than the B.Tech plus M.Tech credits, and that has been combined because people are spending more time at the institute. So in a sense, one saves a year, but it's not overloaded unless students overload on their own, and often many students do that. We try to advise them against it, but when people decide based on whatever they want to do.
Okay, I thank all the panel members for attending this session, and I wish all the best to all the JEE students and who are aspirants of doing a bachelor's or dual degree in IITs. I wish you all the best for your future, and thank you for joining this session. If there are any unanswered questions, we try to post them, but I'm sure most of your questions have been addressed. Thank you very much. Professor Banerjee would like to add some closing comments.
Yes, I hope to see many of you here in the department. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The event will end now.